Howdy everyone and welcome back to the show. If you guys are new here, this show happens live on TikTok for really anybody's guess why I decided TikTok. But it happens live on TikTok and then I put it up on YouTube, Bogetti Studios, as like a podcast, kind of a live deal. I don't read the comments enough to know how that kind of feels as a podcast because I get super distracted. I used to just kind of rant for like an hour and a half when I would do like a solo podcast, but now I like to involve the people. We got a few topics I want to talk about here. The legend himself. See, I get distracted. I appreciate that. I got iTray, I got Sema, got organizations, government, Dodge, Rumblebee, the worst name I've ever heard, which isn't a new name or anything, but it is pretty terrible. That's flipped on this. I wonder if there's a way to flip that. I don't know. If you guys have any topics on the live, we can bring them up. Why aren't you still with Cletus? Dog, it's been 6 years. My gosh. That's insane. Maybe we should start off light with the old Rumblebee. So if you didn't know, Rumblebee's, my Wednesday's going awesome. Jalopnik is the first article that came up about the Rumblebee. Jalopnik is potentially the worst automotive media outlet of all time. When you read their articles, you just get this sense that they hate cars, they dislike American cars, they dislike Americans, they dislike anybody that's not on either East or West Coast directly within 20 feet from the water. There's just this feeling you get that Jalopnik writers dislike cars and the people that like cars. I can't imagine that whoever wrote this article, Erin Marcus, you know she hated having to write that. You know this woman hated having to write about the Rumblebee. Look at this. Let's see. Boom. That's Erin. You see her? Do you think she enjoyed writing about the Rumblebee? Do you think that when they told her, like, hey, you're going to go write about a 700 horsepower truck, this woman was, like, excited? Or do you think she had, like, disdain? You think she was, like, she's probably based in California or something, was like, no one needs a truck this big. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Erin spent her entire life in the city of Detroit soaking in car culture. She was excited. I mean, a lot of people hate the Ram 1500, but it's about why you hate it. You know? Like, do you hate it because it's a Ram, or do you hate it because trucks are big and silly? She has a degree in journalism. Doesn't really say much about her. Let's see what else she's written about. Here are some other stories of hers. Forced labor-made goods are illegal in Canada, and that might be a problem for U.S. car manufacturers. Cheap cars. What cheap car could you afford with your tax return? What's your favorite car named after an animal? This is Jalopnik. This is hard-hitting Jalopnik. I am not a stay-at-home dad. I work from home. Only rich people can afford gas. Good news is only rich people can afford cars anyways. You gotta just agree that she probably doesn't like cars. I mean, the days with Cletus was fun, but they do a lot of traveling. I don't want to do all that. Maybe I would if I was doing it, but it doesn't look like something I want to do. What rules would you introduce to fix flying? These are the type of people Jalopnik has, and I didn't even get to her article. Cincinnati, Ohio. I feel like Ohio has a lot of people in it. I feel like I always hear from people from Ohio. Man. Oh, okay. So, reading the article. How much do you get paid from HPX, the High Performance Expo? There is no shot I'm taking any money from HPX, High Performance Expo, because I made fun of Sema. No way. Somebody told me to come to that, and they told me like a little bit about who's running it, and I said no immediately. So let's read this part in this Hellcat-powered 2027 Ram 1500, the Jalopnik article. Not that EV trucks are doing their manufacturers any favors right now, but Ram is peering into the near future, and we're peering with it. And we don't like what we see for the Rumblebee. EVs are suddenly on an upswing, and with no end to the US-Israel war in Iran in sight, gas is likely going to continue to be extremely high for a long time. Rampant inflation will cut into your buying power of everyone. This is in a Ram first showing of the Ram. This is what I mean by Jalopnik is just garbage. Like, this is what they talk about. If you bring up the US-Israel war with Iran in your first article about Dodge's new flagship truck, you have lost the plot as an automotive writer. Like, I'm not saying don't bring this up at all, but like maybe do like an op-ed a couple days later and be like, hey, we're going to talk about like gas prices now, you know? Like, what? Jalopnik, dude, it's just such trash. It's just such a garbage thing. And she even had to watermark these photos. Like, don't worry, dude. No one's stealing that from you. You're fine. Like, yeah, gas prices are bad, but this is supposed to be like the car review, like a new car. $7 a gallon. Yeah, it was $7 a gallon where my parents are at in New York, too. Gosh. And I knew the second I clicked on this Jalopnik article that I was going to get hit with, like, some hit piece, what would you call it? Like, I hate the word woke. I don't like the word woke, but you would probably call it like, shoot, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know. I lost it, but it's just Jalopnik. I wonder who wrote the article for AOL. The second article that came up, AOL. Jacob Ovelia. Oh, it's from Autoblog. It's just on AOL. God, who reads these anymore? She could be Israeli for all I know. What do we think the over-under on Aaron Marcus is? Her bio says, she perfectly achieved a Scandinavian flick at the Team O'Neill Rally School on her first try. Gosh. She's been there since 2016. Good for her. I'm the only one reading it, I know. I'm getting hit with an ad for Dodge? I don't know who this ad is for. Oh, it's a Ford truck ad on the bottom corner of this Dodge article. Zach from Cletus. People always call me and say me and Zach could be brothers. I feel like they couldn't do a two-door. Everybody's going to say two-door short bed, but I feel with CARB and some like EPA regulations that are like kind of feel like they're still in place. What's up with all the Bogetti hate lately? How do you feel about it? I don't care. People can hate on me all they want. You know, the only thing worse than people hating on you is people not talking about you at all. Which sounds even more conceited, but I mean, in what I do is I kind of need people to at least pay attention in a way. Dang, you did a Swedish slide. Is that similar to a Swedish fish? What's the worst vehicle you have owned? It was probably the Mark III Supra, just because it blew up pretty quickly after owning it, and then I never drove it again. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I've had some conversations with people about this, and someone out there has to have the hard conversations. And a lot of people will say, oh, I have the hard conversations. I'm not afraid to bring anything up. But then they don't actually bring anything up. But they do talk about it on the back end, which I get a lot of. People higher up in this industry reach out to me and they're like, this is going on, this is going on, this, and this. And I'm like, sure, keep it confidential. Don't talk about it. But a lot of people, media figures, will say like, oh, you know, like, I'll talk about it, and then they don't. And then these things happen, and then they just don't say a word about it, and, you know, I end up being like, well, I am chronically honest, so I'll do it. And then I end up in a pissing match with Sema for the last week, because Sema deserves it. Sema absolutely deserves to be roasted. Everybody talks about, oh, they're our only ally in this. But are they? Are they our only ally? If so, I'm fine with no allies. I'll live my life with 0 allies in this, if Sema's all I got. We've had more EPA fixes and more positive things happen because of Lee Zeldin just happened to be appointed, and because of the Supreme Court. More things have happened in the environment and for cars because of those two things. And Sema will be like, well, we supported it. It's like, yeah, great. We all did. Cooper the Karen. Someone has to do it. Someone has to poke at these spots. You know? I'll rip the Band-Aid off. Are you related? No, I'm not related to anyone around Cletus. Someone has to do it, and I have a big enough back, a thick enough skin, if you will, that I can handle some shit piling on top of me. And it was crazy. They didn't achieve anything. In the SEMA video, they did not mention any of their wins. They did not achieve many wins at all. They have some things that kind of, happened, and they just detach themselves to it. How do you think they can go about getting the right things accomplished for us? Any suggestions? Well, I think their organization structure sucks because they are a lobbyist organization and there's no one person that you can point at for accountability. How do you how do you have an organization with zero accountability? So if things don't go well for Sema, the advocacy group, who takes the heat? No one. If policy, like which way policy is going, if something comes up and somebody needs to make a decision about what the future is and where we're going, there is no one there to do that, because it's a committee of just like a bunch of political science women that just graduated college that are like, you know, just kind of going with the flow, setting up meetings, sending emails, and like, you know, wearing business casual and walking around DC. So it's like, what happens? Is it just like this thing that's created to create jobs? Is that what this is? Is this like, you know, when they say 1 million jobs are created, is it jobs like this where it's just people sending emails that are written by ChatGPT to congressman assistants that read them using ChatGPT? Like, is that the future of all of this? And I'm pretty sure that's how Sema works. I'm pretty sure that's just what it is. It's just all of it could be done with ChatGPT back and forth. Like it does the whole thing. The problem is there is no right people. So the comment is, you seem like you'd be the perfect person to connect the right people together for this and help us. There is no right people. No one cares. No one is coming to save us. And I don't like to, I hate to like seed despair into everybody, but I just genuinely don't think that there's any way out of this with emails or elections or anything like that in the automotive industry. I think some things start to like somewhat roll back, but it's one step forward, two steps back. So over a long enough period of time, it's just you're doubling the steps backwards. You can pull yourself out, you can get a little win and see the light again, but you're being pulled more and more. It's not a winning game, and I don't think anybody in office is going to make that even somewhat of a winning game. Would you ever run for office? Honestly, I would think about it, but like seeing what just happened to Thomas Massey, and me and him agree pretty much wholeheartedly, there's no shot. I mean, it's so disheartening. He just got destroyed by the Israel lobby. I don't think the oil shortage will be that bad. I mean, I think it's going to be noticeable, but people are so freaking resilient. Like the industry and like things are so pivotable that I always fall back to the nothing ever happens, because capitalism is very elastic, and as a shortage appears, before you even know it, there's something filling that vacuum that you didn't even realize was going to. And so I always fall back to like, that's going to happen unless the government steps in. Things always work out until the government steps in and makes them not work out. It's pretty much always my thoughts on that, is like, it was going so well until the government stepped in. And like, when are you going to go racing again? I don't know. I need to find motivation to go racing again. I don't think Palm Beach is coming back. Is Palm Beach coming back? I don't think so. Is this another situation where the prices, I don't know. I mean, on the oil, do you think they're going to shoot up? I honestly, if the shortage goes the way that I think it's going to go, I don't think that it's going to shoot up that fast, because I think it's just going to disappear. I think it's just going to be like, before they could even like keep raising the price, because supply is so constrained that it's just going to not be on the shelves. Yeah, $67 million price tag for PBIR. That shit ain't never selling to be a racetrack. You would have to work, like, you would have to have that thing running the biggest race of all time every single day for like 10 years to pay back a $67 million loan. And then also it needs so much work. It's so freaking bad. Like, PBIR for $67 million plus another probably 3-ish into it before you even get a person in the door, that just does not make sense to me. I mean, unless your only hope is to sell it for $100 million in a few years. Index racing will always be big. It doesn't need to be the next big fad. It doesn't need to be the, nothing like that. It will always be what people fall back to. IHRA, I have a lot of thoughts on it. So I get a lot of heat for IHRA stuff because there's this data center rumor that always swirls every time something bad happens with IHRA, or anytime they're in the news. If they buy a track, if they break ground on a track, if they fire somebody, if they hire somebody, it always falls back to, oh, it's all going to be data centers soon. And I am to blame for that because I made a couple posts and videos about the owner and his XAI connections. XAI is on the sleeves of the jackets that they wear. He built the Colossus in Memphis that they use for XAI, Elon Musk's. He's very close with Elon Musk, and he built it faster than anybody could. He's got tons of contracts with Elon Musk, so I'm always like, fall back to, I feel the data center thing is kind of possible, especially when you look at who just won governor of Ohio. Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy is likely going to be the next governor of Ohio, and he is like the data center guy. He is like, Ohio is gonna be data center central, and it's like, ugh. So you're talking about a guy that bought a couple facilities in Ohio. Elon Musk's, like, I don't know if they're friends, but he definitely knows Vivek pretty well. We're talking about IHRA and how I ended up starting a data center rumor that always feels a little too real. Basically was the thesis of it, that, there's all these like little connections that make it feel like, I don't know, makes it feel weird. And that rumor always swirls, and unfortunately I kind of started that rumor, but I don't want IHR to fail. I said at the end of my video, I said, go support them. Go to the events, race at the events, like, it's good. I think firing people with a single text message of fired is also questionable. That's, I guess, what he's done. Interesting. Interesting tactic. I've not really gotten fired, but getting a single text message that just says fired it's got to be tough. It's got to be a tough one. IHRA fires people through text, where it just is one word, fired. They fired their last CEO that way. They fired like announcers that way. They fired a few people have just gotten a single text that says fired, and that's it from the owner. It's interesting. Will it be data centers? I don't freaking know. I mean, I feel like the data center thing is going to fall out, like the bottom's going to fall out. Like, that feels like a bubble to me. I can't imagine. Well, that was my other part of the thesis was, it's a great idea to buy property that could be a data center, but if it doesn't need to be a data center, it's an operational drag strip. So it's like a win-win. You're like, I got the drag strip, I love drag racing, but if there's an opportunity to make a bunch of money on a data center, I'll do that. Like, he's not going to turn down money. Yeah, he's ruthless. He's like a billionaire. We want your car content back. What? I'm talking about cars right now, dude. I'm talking about freaking drag racing. I talk about cars every single day of my life. Could they do both? That was my other thought. So data centers put out a bunch of heat. What if you could put the data center upwind of the drag strip? So maybe midwinter, right next to this drag strip, You got 80-degree weather from people generating images of cats doing like yoga or something. Like, hey, that person in California is generating a photo of a cat. So now we have 80-degree air coming out of this data center right onto the drag strip. It's perfect. Middle of Ohio, in the snow. We're just here racing. Just an idea. Probably could never work. It's one of those things where we prefer to just toss the energy into the air. You know, they'll point it right up instead of actually use it. That's just kind of how it is. Oh, and H pattern. People were asking about H pattern. What do I think? I think World Cup was pretty smart for allowing that. You kind of had to. You have to allow that. You have to allow the new Liberty H pattern transmission. There's like 4 cars that are probably going to be using it at World Cup, and those 4 cars are part of the show. Like, there's not enough 6-second cars to start making rules like that. Like, you kind of have to allow what's the benefit of a data center? They can spy on you. The data center is nice because they can spy on you. My first employment in the auto industry was 1320 Video with Kyle Loftus. 100% surveillance, yeah. We're all going to be surveilled more. We're already surveilled, but they don't know what to do with the data. You know? That's what they need. They need the data centers just to be able to go through it. You know? My take is I plan to generate so much data that they don't even know what to do with. You know, I'm going to put out so much video. I'm going to talk to ChatGPT, Grok, and Claude so much that they will just be unable to process it all. I'm going to ask, you know, ChatGPT how many COVID vaccines I can get, and then I'm going to ask, you know, XAI how to overthrow the government. You know, I'm going to like conflict it so when they try to sort me out, they don't know what I'm planning. Never let them know your next move. Yeah, just freaking overload the system. The thing about Sean is, like, Sean Madden with his cars, doesn't seem like he needs that transmission at the moment. I mean, he hasn't been destroying his T56s. They've been holding up pretty well. We were just talking about the Rumble line. I think the name is stupid, but I think the truck is cool. I would love to see a 2-door option. Let's see. Let's ask ChatGPT. Why can't they make a 2-door high power truck? Is it a carb issue with weight and size? So there's like size and weight rules. So I'm curious if that's why they can't make a smaller truck. I would like to race FL2K. I probably will. Crew cabs killed the regular cab market. Most buyers want 4 doors. Fuel economy and emissions math hurts V8 toys. Okay, so this is it. Short wheelbase, supercharged, high horsepower. Truck becomes harder to justify unless... This is just trying to say that it would just make less money. I don't know if I believe that. The problem is, currently California still gets to make their own rules, which is like 15 states that all are like 30-ish states that all agree with CARB. So even if they wanted to sell to the other ones, it's not worth it. Marketing. Yeah, I know. I feel like the two-door trucks look cool, but people actually wouldn't buy them when push comes to shove. Yeah, the future of IHRA. I do genuinely worry a lot if IHRA ends up having to sell, or not having to sell, but like comes to the point where it's like, it's not worth it. We're going to liquidate assets, because the tracks were purchased for decently high prices. So getting somebody else to buy them for a similar or equal price would be really hard, which is kind of a scary thing. It's like, if you buy things for above market value, how do you sell it? Yeah, nobody else has the money to buy. I mean, I'm sure people do, obviously, but nobody that cares about drag racing probably has the money to get into it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does he? I don't know. I mean, do you ever know how much money somebody has? It's one of those things where it's like, he could have a lot of money. He could just have a good line of credit and have a lot of debt. I think he's got Native American stuff going too, which is always a good way to make some things happen. I feel when you stamp that like Native American on things, you're just like, you got the race card of all time. No, I've looked it up. I've dug deep into the Rana hybrid, and I know that they bring in a lot of money. Profit wise, I don't know. I don't think it's a public company, so you can't really know. You can see that the company brings in a lot of money, but it could be operating on like a 2%, like a 2% profit margin. For all we know, it could just be like almost 0%, and they're just trying to scale. Who runs the interior game? Chevy, Ram, or Ford? I haven't really spent a lot of time in any of the newer stuff. I think if we're talking about like trucks, unfortunately, I think Dodge has some pretty nice interior, which hurts me to say because I am very anti-Stellantis. I think they are a atrocious foreign brand that pretends to be an American brand. I don't think I'd have a successful car company. I think I would have a somewhat of a company. I don't think you can have a successful car company these days. I think the days of new car companies are pretty much behind us. The only new ones we've seen lately are what? We've seen Tesla was the most recent actual success, but you look at like Rivian and they're struggling. You look at all of the smaller brands alongside of Rivian, even like Polestar. No one knows what a Polestar is. No one sees them. Every other small electric vehicle is kind of just like gone. Yeah, I mean that is your duty as a brother-in-law to make fun of your brother-in-law for buying anything. Any vehicle. It doesn't even matter. Pretend that Rose was a piston. Is there any hope for Dodge? I think so. I think Dodge, I've said it before, that Dodge has a golden goose brand, and that is the Jeep brand. If they just hone in and make that good, they could really pull some things around. That is the golden goose. They just need about 5 years to correct their imaging. Jeep is garbage. It is, but it has a lot of brand recognition. It makes vehicles that people do want. People still want Wranglers, but they can't justify them for the most part because they're crap. But they could do it. They could make a big SUV. They could make a good big SUV. But like Jeep is the golden goose. They just need to do it. Jeep 1000% has the most potential. They might have the most potential of every American brand, like in total. I am an absolutely anti-Jeep, but I see them all the time. It's all over the place. They're everywhere. Like there's like 50 Jeeps just in my neighborhood. See? Is Summit the APEC of the car world? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much else they give to. I know they give to Sema, so that Sema can give to Ted Cruz, but I appreciate that. I will say hi to Bowser. I was just watching him today chase the chickens. Good old Bowser. Guy's still growing. I can't weigh him because I can't pick him up, but he's heavy. Bob said you a Kamala supporter? Come on. Come on. I think the only Kamala supporter is like her weird husband. I think that's it. I think that's the extent of it. If people were really real to themselves, that woman is just nuts. It's like, you know, being a supporter of your drunk history teacher or your drunk English teacher. You know, it's like, yeah, I support my intoxicated English teacher that keeps slurring her words. I don't like the CT5V. I like everything but the packaging. The exterior to me just does not look good. It looks so, like, neutered. You know, like they took this, like, V lineup that was just, like, sharp angles, aggressive, and then they were just like, make it less aggressive. Make it look like a, you know, Honda Accord. Where's the Honda Accord guy? Honda Accord, what is it, the 11th gen? Yeah, Cadillac cooked it with the CT5. But they did a great job on the engine. Like, why not make like a ZTK package at least, like they do with the Corvettes? Some aero. I want to see like the aggressive aero. Canards, I want to see like all of it. I really like the XLR. I would for sure own an XLR-V. I don't know. I'm not crazy about hybrid. I think it's cool and gimmicky, but I think the only reason hybrid exists is to keep the gas guys happy. It's like they know electric is the performance future, but they gotta keep like their core audience happy, so they're like, we can only slowly dive into it. We can only dip our feet in slowly, but then eventually they're gonna bring it full electric and it's probably gonna perform better, but they're slowly doing it. I liked the old electric Cobra Jet too. The centrifugal blowers on Pro Mods are just kind of boring because like you don't see anything. I like at least like turbos are popping and banging even though you don't see it. But like a big blower out the hood like Jimmy does like that, like that's the shit right there. That shit is sick. Oil is up. Good thing I bought all those barrels of oil buried them in my backyard. It depends on what you're trying to DIY. Some things are worth DIYing. Some things, depending on your own personal skill level, are probably not. If you're questioning it, you should probably send it to a shop. But if someone at a shop can do it, then, like, if another human can do it, then you also can do it. You know? Like, if a human can fix this vehicle, and I am a human, then I can also fix this vehicle. Is it worth spending the money on the tools? Usually becomes the question. Like, have you ever had a real job? What is a real job? What is a real job? Yeah, is your time more valuable? Yeah, 1320's media was a fake career. That was a fake job. And that wasn't even my only job at the time. That was part-time. Because it paid so little. That was like, there was a time where managing social media was like $1,000 a month. That was part-time stuff. I would do that at a job. I have found the best side of TikTok. Congrats, you've made it. What do you want to hear about? We are here to overthrow the government, and I hope you're prepared, because you are just enlisted into overthrowing the government. My front yard is clean. It is extremely clean. I don't know anything about Chevy square body trucks, I will tell you that. I like Fishback. I actually just sent him an email today to see if he would come on the podcast to talk about automotive. So, see if that happens. I do consider myself a libertarian. But I'm a registered Republican because there's never really a point in voting for a libertarian. I kind of am 50-50. A lot of my race cars were built, well, the Camaro was built a lot by induction, but I have done a lot on it myself as well. Yeah, we should definitely try to talk about Fishback. He seems like he's everywhere. I feel like it's very possible. But I also feel like he's not going to win. But everybody I kind of like doesn't win. So maybe I'm a bad omen, you know? Like when I like somebody, they don't win. Probably because I don't like politicians and all the non-politicians end up not winning. Five questions down, no answers yet. What did I miss out on? My bad. Did McFarlane Racing pay well? Not really something I care to discuss. It seems like more of a private matter. This is the Sick the Mag, dude. They gave me this for free when I raced in 25. Everybody got a free orange shirt. It feels like a weird shirt to wear. It's like my putting this on to go work and fill ditches on the highway. I'm not above filling ditches, but it feels odd to do it, you know, wearing a Sick the Mag shirt. I do have merch. I don't know how much is on there because I don't really promote it. Because, I don't know. Merch is like hungry hippos on social media. Everybody's got like the same core designs and the same people do all the designs. So they're kind of just like the hungry hippos of trying to grab the designs before other people. And there's just like this toxicity of it. And then the promotion of it. And then like the toxicity of promoting people to go gamble to win something. It's like, oh, you got triple entries and oh man, this is the best. I don't know. It just gets like, eh. Say, dude, guy was pissed. Should have never left cleat. I don't know anything about older BMWs or Mercedes at all. Nothing. It's like complete hole in my brain. You know how they say like drugs, what do they say? Like ecstasy leaves holes in your brain. I absolutely have a hole in my brain. Not that I've done any drugs, but like there's a hole in my brain about knowledge of that. Okay, let me answer this one. Aliens, C8ZR1X, talking about hybrids, and where's a CTSV? They're both in my garage. One is in my shop garage. One is in my home garage. Aliens are... There's definitely something out there, whether they're like angels or, you know, godly figures or, you know, a way for us not to talk about Epstein files, likely. ZR1X, cool car. I think Garrett nailed what he was talking about. I just saw a clip somebody shared of him talking about the steering and the handling of the Corvette is not really inspires that much confidence, and I tend to believe him, which I've heard many people say. I got to drive a C8 base model on a racetrack, and I didn't really, you know, I'm not really smart enough to pick up on those kind of things because I haven't driven enough of those, but it is interesting to hear that. When will you do Six Summer? I don't know. Don't I have to go to Michigan for that? Why are wind muffs always the same color? I have a black one too. I just like the gray one because I have some gray hairs too, so I want my wind muff to also have gray hairs. Do you talk to Faster Proms still? I do. Look, I even got a Faster Proms hat right here. My boy Jeremy, dude. Guy's awesome. Steer us away from APAC. Illinois and Wisconsin. Wisconsin is pretty much Michigan. Kind of the same thing, just maybe more jolly people and less crime because the big cities, right? Do you still have the Cadillac? I do. Are you and Cletus friends? Yes, I was at his pool the other day. I got a sunburn and then I went on his boat. Yeah, it's more jolly people and less crime, right? Yeah, Illinois is a little rough. Is Florida the best state? Like legally, like laws and stuff, probably. But like weather-wise, maybe. I don't know. That's weather and landscape-wise. That's where I'm probably gonna say no. I mean, California is obviously the best state for weather and landscape, location. Camaro's been a 760. I would probably put a big block in a Crown Vic. Yeah. Geography, definitely California. What kind of car content would you like? I talk about cars all the time. The problem is lately I've wanted to fill this void that there is of people sitting down and talking about car content the way that I do, because that's some of the content I like to watch at times is people like just talking about things. So I wanted to fill that void, and I enjoy doing it. What's the podcast schedule? Listen to it at work every day. I don't have anything really. This will come out in the next day or so. Souped up diesels are insane, dude. Anybody who has a highly modified race diesel or like street diesel truck is absolutely insane. We could talk about this for a minute. I saw the dude Gage getting roasted for talking about his twin turbo Lamborghini could beat like any diesel truck, which obviously isn't true, but it's like the point was it could beat like 90% of them, and these diesel guys will spend so much money. Not that a twin turbo Aventador isn't a lot of money, but they will spend so much money building the most unreliable vehicle that can't even outrun like a bone stock CTSV. And they put stacks on it, which aren't as popular, thank goodness now. Melts everything in the bed. I'm going to get dropped off at a plantation. Is that still a thing anymore? Crazy Horse is absolutely going to whoop him. But that is like the most like niche exception to the rule of diesels aren't fast. Like there's very, very few cars that prove that diesels actually are fast. And obviously he is one of them. But the rule still holds. The exception doesn't change the rule. You know? Tell us an untold story. I don't know if I got any untold stories. Probably not any that I could share here. I mean, hey, I can't spell right either. Would you let a small creator? Yeah, I've had plenty of people that are small creators on the podcast. Some of them don't even actually create anything. They were just like business owners or something. A diesel donk would be cool. Donk people are specific. A donk can only be like a 71 or 72 Impala or something like that. Donks are weird. I can never remember what a donk actually is. What? Like, it's not just anything. A 71 to 76 Caprice or Impala. That's it. In my mind, it's anything that's on those wheels and tires is a donk. Oh, don't say that. I hope IHRA lasts a long time. I like S550 Mustangs. I think those are one of the better bangs for your buck in all of motorsports right now. I mean, they're so cheap. The IRS systems are really, really good right out the box. The transmissions are good. The engines are good. Like, they have everything really going for them. I always leave my inflatable in my front yard. Why would I put away my bounce house? You want me to drag it? So I got a letter from an angry neighbor that said, you know, you got to put away your toys. And I left a bounce house in my front yard because, of course, it's flat. What do you mean? You can't even see it. It lays flat. I'm going to drag it into my garage every time I want to go use it? It's insane. Then drag it back out? You guys think this is? Oh, that is the untold story. Take the jack racing at 3 a.m. I have an HOA, but the letter didn't come from the HOA. It just came from a random disgruntled person. I will not be at SEMA show this year, nor PRI. I do not support those events. I will not be at HP Expo either. I know Garrett has a thing. I don't know anything about it, though. His expo. But that one's a lot of fans, so I don't know about that. Not that I don't like fans or anything, or his fans, but an expo of just fans does sound pretty claustrophobic, potentially. Just that many people. I don't know. I don't know about the HP Expo. Maybe I need to dig more into him. Does kind of sound like an anime convention. It sounds like it might smell like BO. It'll also be middle of summer. Their HP Expo is powered by Fox Factory Vehicles. Yes, I was just on Garrett's airplane. We flew to Kyle's funeral together. He beat me in Monopoly. HP Expo. Why does it look like it's motorsports for like NASCAR? The people they show are like RCR, Ford Performance, Flow Sports, Haas Factory Team, Porsche Club of America. Like, I don't know. This seems weird. Is this drag racing oriented? It does say Flow. What's up? I did see what happened to James. It looked like it hurt. Not going because of Flow? That's fair. I don't blame you. AB Motorsports, that's Antron Brown, I believe. GM is on here. I'm still not over that GM did this. That they decided that this logo was in their best interest. Switching to this logo. This, like, fruity green, blue one. It's, like, fruity, like, lowercase with the under... Really not over that, you know? I think that's fair, right? I don't know what's going to happen with 1320 Video. I would love to help them in some way because I love those guys and I want it to continue. I've never really... I wouldn't consider myself friends with Roman. I know him. We know each other. All right, I got to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time.